Good morning. Come join me as homeschool mom of three as we talk about evaluating where our kids are, looking at it from a whole perspective, as in from the point we started homeschooling to the point we're at now, how to make revisions to curriculum and education to help support our children if they indeed are falling behind, and how to look at it from a picture and a perspective of a homeschooling journey, not a public schooling journey. I'm going to have my tea and start my devotions, and we're going to jump into this. All right, so let's start. Let's first see if you have multiple children, one children, are you evaluating them all? Are you evaluating none of them? And you're just thinking, well, am I to a good standard for my children? So one of the greatest things about being a homeschool parent and family, and don't mind the mess behind us, we're packing to move again, is that we get to take our time with our children in all things, and we get to give them a very specialized education that can help them thrive no matter their learning style, no matter what you need to teach them. There are so many resources, so don't feel discouraged before we even start evaluating. And forgive my moving a lot. I broke part of my elbow, so I'm trying to hold my phone with one hand kind of funny, and it does not feel good. So one of the things that I like to do when evaluating my kids or talking with another homeschool mom about where our children will be is remember that number one, comparison is the thief of joy. There are always going to be kids who are smarter than your children. There's always going to be kids that are struggling more than your children. It's just the way it is. So don't start comparing your children to other children, because your child is a unique individual that needs a unique and individualized education that you can give them. So be encouraged from the start. The second thing to remember as we evaluate our children is, have we made progress in this area that we are struggling in, or are we just staying at the same struggle boat? Nothing's changing, nothing's getting better, and it's in fact getting worse. As we evaluate our children, I'll give you for example, my middle daughter, she is severely dyslexic, and we have fought through the mud to help her get reading. It has been literally one of the most difficult things to overcome as a homeschool parent, but we're getting there. I'm gonna lean forward, have my elbow on my knee so I can prop my phone up. We have literally changed curriculums maybe 5 times. We've used different online programs, games, tons of Orton Gillingham curriculum. We've gone back to way old school, easy McGuffey reading programs. I have literally done everything that we could afford to do. We've done some online tutoring. It has just been difficult. So if you're in that place where school is just difficult and it sucks, it's okay. If you're doing everything that you can, tutoring, resources, changing curriculum, and just supporting them alongside the way, every bit of it, you're doing everything that you can. And sometimes it's just going to be a long-term haul before you see progress. All right, I had to back up because my arm was killing me. So the second thing that you can evaluate and look at when you're thinking about, is my child keeping up to par with where they need to be in their education, and are we making progress, is, do I need to bring somebody else other than myself in? So as homeschool moms, a lot of the times we put the weight of everything on us, especially if we have a spouse that works a lot and cannot help. But is there somebody else in your family or outside of your family that can come in and maybe try teaching it from a different perspective? That has helped in the past for us with math. I did not grow up loving math. I did not grow up being very successful with math, but redeeming my education through being a homeschool parent has helped me to take a bigger scale look at things, to relearn things for myself before teaching them. But we have had to have some of my friends who are also homeschool parents come in and help with some pre-algebraic lessons that it's like my daughter and I were just we were not matching up well the way that I was teaching them, and my friend explained them and it clicked a lot better for her. So see if you can bring an outside person in who's also got the same beliefs, values, and homeschooling style as you in, that can teach it from a different manner. And you just sit alongside so that you can see from the perspective that they're teaching it, to see if it can help you, because again, every child is an individual learner. They're not all going to learn the same and in the same time frame. So that's also just something that you can do. Then in addition to that is, do we need to stretch this out? So I know that in our world, we're very like, hurry, hurry, hurry. We need to get this done. We need to move our kids to the next grade level. They need to succeed in this. They need to just keep going forward. It is okay to slow down, because depending on your goals for your homeschool, mine is not necessarily to just keep pushing them forward. I want them to really learn and understand the information. And on top of that, I want them to succeed in remembering it, and to also have a positive enough experience in it so that when they move forward and they go to something else difficult, they go, you know what, I overcame something that was difficult, and it's okay, because here I am learning something else difficult, and I know that I will be able to get through that as well. So take those steps, be slow at evaluating, and one of the biggest things is just not to get frustrated. Even when you know that your child is falling behind in something, don't get overly frustrated. It is okay. And the great thing is that it's almost always corrective. Unless you see something wrong, you ignore it and you just let it sit there and you never do anything about it. Obviously, nothing good comes out of that. But for the most part, you can correct any path that you're on when it comes to education. Now, when you do go evaluate your child's total grand scheme of things, don't make them feel bad about it either. It's okay to let them be aware of where they're at, but one of the gifts of homeschooling, again, is that your journey to getting them through high school and graduated is going to look different from every kid, and because of that, you have the grace and the freedom to keep being adaptable. I would highly recommend being a soft hand when evaluating anything that you guys are doing, because again, you are going to be your own worst critic as a homeschool parent, and you know, depending on where you live or who your support system is, you may already have a lot of outside criticism coming in because you don't look like the standard public education or private school family. And it's okay. If we were to evaluate every child side by side, there's going to be weaknesses that a public school child has that a homeschool child doesn't, and vice versa. So again, comparison is the thief of joy. We don't want to do it. It doesn't benefit anybody. So keep going, stay positive as you evaluate things. And then lastly, I would just say, being aware of things that are not going well or that don't feel super successful in our homeschool life is okay. It is a good thing to evaluate where we are at and keep it in mind. You know, a lot of homeschool parents will be like, just trust the system, like you're doing it, they're gonna get there. But there's never a problem with being aware of areas that you struggle so that you can do better. You know, not everybody is a Christian, and I understand that, but for us, we talk about how when we do things, we want to do all things that we do to the glory of God, as if we are doing them for the Lord and not to men. So having a good attitude about the things that we do as we move forward is important, and it's a good perspective to keep in mind as we do all things. Also, thinking about your child's future, what are they going to be or what are they going to do? Not every child is going to be a doctor, not every child is going to be a lawyer, or anything that requires a great degree. Now, any child can be, but not all of them are going to have the drive or the want. And I think that that's why I love Charlotte Mason education a lot, because it talks about the character quality of your children and habit training, right? A lot of habits are needed to be successful at anything in life. So as you evaluate your total journey of homeschooling, where you may be struggling, you're going to see that some struggles come from a habit of not training a good attitude, or laziness, ungrateful hearts. You know, having an attitude or having a problem in that area makes all of school more difficult, and attitudes come from the heart, not of us, but of our children. So all you can do is encourage them in their attitudes, and we do that as parents by setting the example. I'm guilty, first and foremost, of getting frustrated, irritated, and snappy when things are not going right in school, because what do? We want to be able to get up, we want to be able to get our school day done and over with so we can have some time to do other things that we love and enjoy. But the reality is most school days do not go like that for us. I would love to say that they do not. So don't feel discouraged if that is your school day as well. Hopefully this video has been helpful to you to look at a whole of your homeschooling journey if you're feeling like you have a child that is falling behind. This conversation comes up a lot among my homeschool mom friends. And we just have to remember, first and foremost, are we doing our best with what we have? What can we do better with the skills, talents, money, and availability that we have? And, you know, keeping the full perspective of your individual child and the end goals as we obviously get closer to graduating high school. Those goals have got to get more serious, and we have to buckle down more with the road that we're on for our children. In those early years, there's a lot of flexibility, but as they get older, it does get more serious, and that's where I feel like kind of cranking down the belt that tightens and holds everything together is important. So just look at your everything from a whole perspective, but stay encouraged, because nothing that you experience cannot be fixed or overcome with the right tools. So stay positive, my friends. Keep homeschooling. I hope you guys have a blessed day, and you'll see us next time we decide to post a random vlog.